Hello everybody, Treno here, and today we are taking a look at the mobile infantry trailer for War Thunder, aka this year's April Fool's event. And as you can see, mobile infantry, which most of you are probably more familiar with from the film Starship Troopers, is infantry in exosuits, and they've got very large caliber weaponry, large caliber rifle on the left, or machine gun on the left, and rocket launchers on the right. And you can see these are actually different rocket launchers and loadouts. In fact, there are 4 loadouts for the exosuits. And these are Assault, Sniper, ATGM Operator, and Manpads Operator. And despite being quite heavy, clunky suits, they do seem to move pretty fast, and they are capable of doing large jumps with some sort of a rocket boost, which, yeah, in an urban environment, this looks to be a lot of fun. You can see them going against tanks and enemy helicopters, and they seem to be doing pretty well for themselves. This does look like a whole bunch of fun. Now, unfortunately, we only really get 2 really detailed close-ups. I think this one is possibly the Manpads Operator or the Assault Operator, I'm not entirely sure. But as you can see, a large caliber machine gun on the left arm with some sort of advanced optics. You've got more optics on the left shoulder. On the right shoulder looks to be smoke launchers or possibly grenade launchers. And in the right arm you have what look to be manpads or some sort of small caliber rocket launcher. And you can see they're not particularly the best armoured. Like, they've got some sort of bomb suit, but it's not particularly going to stop heavy caliber weapons. We also get a look at what looks to be, I think, the ATGM Operator. Again, like with the other one, it's got a heavy caliber machine gun left arm, optics left shoulder, smoke grenades right shoulder, and then these heavy caliber rockets on the right shoulder. And maybe it's just because this one's standing still, but it looks to be a bit more bulked up. I'm not entirely sure on that one. It probably is about the same looking at the 2 images, but obviously the one we looked at first, the Manpads Operator, is running, so it's a bit harder to see compared to the ATGM Operator. And of course, the other thing I'm kind of interested in is whether this is going to be testing anything, because of course April Fool's Day is just a fun event for us, but Gaijin does sometimes use it to test future features. For example, the first naval ships we got were in an April Fool's event for 2016. Of course, we didn't actually get naval for another 2 years after that. The first high-tier tanks and helicopters were in the 2017 April Fool's Day. So again, that was tested first on April Fool's. In fact, we actually got walkers, not exosuits, but sort of walking tanks in 2015. So possibly this is something Gaijin's been interested in for a little while. And I think drones were possibly in the 2021 April Fool's Day. I didn't play that one. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they will be testing something, but if I had to take a guess, I've seen a lot of people say infantry, but I just don't see infantry ever come into War Thunder, at least in a playable role. It could be a way of testing maybe some of the new weapons, like the ATGM Operator and the Manpads, but again, we've already got them, so maybe they're more modern, smaller ones. I'm not entirely sure. Or maybe they are just looking at infantry. Maybe this is for, perhaps they're considering adding infantry into War Thunder for whatever reason. Or I suppose a really far out there guess, maybe they're going to add sort of static emplacements, like anti-air launchers, which would fit in with the Manpad Operator and the fact they all seem to be armed with rockets of some sort in a rather small platform, but again, that is just a bit of a stretch. Honestly, this one does just feel like they are just doing a fun event. I don't think they're particularly testing anything. If they are testing anything, it's probably to do with the exosuits, but again, I'm not entirely sure how that would fit into the game because they're not something used by major militaries on a large scale, especially with weapons. So I think this is just a fun event, but we'll see in the future. Like I say, these usually don't pan out for a few years afterwards. And of course, some don't ever pan out at all. Like, for example, submarines were tested back in 2018. So perhaps that will happen again in the future, but it could just be sometimes the tests from these show that it's not workable in-game, or they just have a change of priorities or some such. Anyway, just a quick video today looking at the April Fool's 2023 trailer. I do apologise for not posting much lately. I've been a bit ill lately and busy. I'm hoping to get the next Romanian Tanks video up in the next few weeks or so hopefully that will be coming to you soon. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I've been Treno, and I'll see you next time.